On my brain. Okay. Oh no, we're live. Okay. Hi everybody. I am Stephanie Padger, as you know, and this is my beautiful friend Piper Wallace. We are so excited to have you guys joining us for this incredibly special interview today. So for those of you who have been with me before, this interview is a part of my Breaking Free series, which is basically just interviewing people that are breaking free from whatever it is that holds people back, whether it's the job or the fear or, you know, anything that they want to break free and move forward with their life. And Piper recently quit the day job and she is moving to Costa Rica. So
yeah,
exciting.
That's a thing.
It's a real thing, guys. It's a real thing. So today I thought it'd be awesome to interview her. She's actually leaving. When are you leaving again?
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
2 days, basically.
Yeah, 2 days. Oh my gosh. So she's got a couple days left here in Chicagoland. Please forgive us if you hear that L in the background. We're actually outside at the beautiful Heartland Cafe in Chicago. So if you are local, definitely check it out. It's a great place. And it's actually really nice weather. So we're sitting outside this evening.
Starting to prep for Costa Rica weather.
That's right. You'll be doing all the outdoor cafes there.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome. So, okay, so let's just jump in. I have a couple questions for Piper, and then whoever is live, you can go ahead and ask questions as well, because we can see it if you type it in. So, first of all, Piper, just tell me a little bit about how you got started traveling, because I know that this is something you've been doing for a while.
Yeah. So I was really hesitant to travel at first. I did some big trips in college and high school. I went to Kyrgyzstan as an exchange student in high school, and that has a really, really interesting movie-like story to it, which is quite long. So I'll probably end up writing about it at some point on my blog. So check it out if you're really curious. But Kyrgyzstan Sky High
Piper, not Popper. Piper.com.
So that was a really interesting, kind of scary, crazy experience. And then I went to Mexico for a month in college to study anthropology. I went to Qatar as an exchange student in college. So I had lots of really diverse experiences in the jungles in Mexico, in the Middle East, in Asia, and I loved all of it. And I just couldn't comprehend traveling alone, because I had always done it as part of a group, especially like a school group that was organized for me. So when I got into grad school and out on my own a little bit more, I kept wanting to travel and was looking for friends and groups to travel with. And everyone wants to travel, not many people follow through on it. And so I was finding that no one actually showed up and planned trips with me, and eventually I was just like, you know what, I have to do this. I'm gonna do it by myself. I was really scared, and my first country I did was Italy. I did 2 weeks in Italy alone, Christmas and New Year's. So that was my thing I always did, was I traveled Christmas and New Year's. I got 2 weeks off, and I would celebrate Christmas and New Year's in different countries every year and get to see how that worked. So I've done a couple areas of Europe, and then this year I decided to do Costa Rica.
Costa Rica! And I remember you told me that it was actually kind of a fluke. You were not originally supposed to go to Costa Rica, which is a really crazy story. So tell me a little bit about that.
I really feel like the universe sent me to Costa Rica and like has sent this whole path on me, which is really not something I ever believed in before, but I've seen it working now. I can honestly trace it all back to a tattoo I got when I was 19. This is really weird. I don't think I've even told you the beginning part of this, but this I figured it out. So I got a tattoo on my side when I was like 19, and I loved it. It said, "Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything," which is a line from The Little Mermaid when she's singing about wanting to, like, appreciating everything she has and valuing it, but wanting to go out and see the world and see how other people live and see how other cultures operate. And I really felt that really hard in college. I mean, I still do. But as the years went on, the tattoo faded. It wasn't done super, super well. My weight fluctuated, sun, all of this stuff, and it became almost illegible. So this fall, I got it covered up with a huge watercolor cloud tattoo. And I loved it, and I had a friend invite me to come to Florida and visit her to let my tattoo get some sun. And so I really wanted to do that. I went for a long weekend in Florida, and at this point I had my December trip planned out. I had flights booked, I had hostels booked, I was going to Eastern Europe, I was going to go to Berlin, Prague, Budapest, Vienna and see all these cool sights. And when I was in Florida, I realized I wanted to be somewhere warm, and I wanted an actual vacation, not something that's like sightseeing, see these museums, all of this. Like, I was feeling so burnt out in my job, and I thought it would be really cool if I had a trip where my main goal was to lay on the beach and maybe have some
all
sangria.
About that. Yes, totally.
So I started thinking that maybe I didn't want to go to Germany. Like, I was flying into Germany. I didn't want to go to Eastern Europe, but I already had everything booked. And then all of a sudden, my airline emails me and says that they changed the return flight. So because they changed the time of the flight, I could cancel without penalty. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should cancel and go somewhere else. And I had Costa Rica in my mind for a while. And then that week, I was thinking on it, and I took the kids I nannied for to the library. And as we walk out of the bathroom, there's a Costa Rica 2016 travel guide right on the return shelf in front of me. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to read that. So I read the entire book, changed my flights to Costa Rica, and I actually showed up in Costa Rica with 0 plans. I had nothing but my flight booked. I had no hostels. I didn't even know what cities. I sort of, like, I had read the guidebooks. I knew sort of what I was interested in, but I didn't know how to get around. I didn't know how to get places, so I just showed up.
That's awesome. I don't know what you all think out there, but that is so awesome, because so many of us, even if we have like all the details planned, we still don't take the trip, right? Like, even if we know that we get all these details planned. So the fact that you know, shifted your plans totally and then just showed up without even exactly knowing what you were going to do, it's just awesome. You know, I think when you live life in that way a little bit more fearlessly, like, that's when it kind of opens up to you. And so when you got to Costa Rica, tell everybody who's watching a little bit about what you were feeling and experiencing while you were there. Okay. And then she'll talk a little bit about what made her decide to ultimately move there. And excuse the plane, sorry, like we said, we're outside at the Heartland Cafe.
Okay, so in my life, right before this trip, I was going through like a lot of changes. I had been kind of unhappy in my job for a little while. I just wasn't feeling super fulfilled, and I felt like it was time to move on. I've been a nanny for these kids that I love dearly for almost 4 years, and I was just feeling like I didn't have time for myself to grow and to change and to learn. I was just with these kids all day and putting all my energy into that, and then coming home and just trying to de-stress. And I was ready for something different. So right before this trip, I quit my job, and I mean, I gave notice and I did everything the right way, but when I went on this trip, I had left my long-term job.
And hang on, let me stop you for 1 second, because I think this is something that's really important, and especially for people that are looking to maybe break free from something or looking to make a transition. They don't really listen to their inner guide, right? They're not really listening to their gut or the messages that even their body or their heart is sending them. And even though you really loved these kids that you'd been with for a really long time, you were really starting to get the messages that it wasn't quite fulfilling you in the way that you wanted it to. So you took time to stop and listen to that, which I think is a really important point to stop on, because so many people don't do things or take certain opportunities because of their careers. Right? So
it was really hard to leave too, because I had been with these kids since they were born. So it felt like way more than a job. But I finally left. I knew that that's what I needed for me, and I came into Costa Rica honestly feeling really sad. I usually network so much in hostels. I come in and I meet so many people, and I'm up late at night playing games and like just really getting to know people. And my first 2 hostels, my first 2 cities, I just was really reserved. I was reading a lot. I read a lot of books. I can't say that I felt completely sad the entire time, but I didn't feel like connecting with people. I didn't feel like I was my best self, and I didn't feel like portraying that to other people. And then I got to, so I went to a hostel and hiked over a volcano, which was incredible. And then I went to another hostel in a cloud forest where I did zip lining, and that was really cool. But I had not been in like the beachy atmosphere that I was really hoping for. So finally I take this 8-hour, $8 bus, ferry, Jeep situation to get to Montezuma, which is at the tip of the Nicoya Peninsula, and it's this great tiny little fishing village. It's like a hippie town. It was so gorgeous and so quaint, and like everyone knows everyone. I can tell you almost the names of almost everyone who works in that town, and I was only there for 2 weeks. I planned to stay for 3 nights, and every day that I was supposed to leave, I thought, I can't imagine being happier anywhere else. So it was just this feeling of being able to wake up every day and think, what do I really want today? And what do I need today? And do that. And I can't do that I couldn't do that in my life as a nanny. I needed to wake up and go to my job and do what the kids needed and do what my life required and not what like my soul needed. And being able to listen to that for the first time was so incredibly liberating. I didn't know I could feel as happy as I felt there, and I wasn't balling out. I was like staying in hostels and like cooking food as a community with the people in the hostel, and just like I was doing yoga 3 hours a day and meditating. I went to an incredible sound journey meditation, and I just had like a really incredible experience that when I left, I felt like I was making a bad decision. Like it felt like I was doing something wrong when I was leaving. And so I knew I was going to go back, but I thought I was going to work. I had a new job already set up. I had a start date and everything. So I came back and I was going to work this job for a year, like really live out my commitment to this family, and save up money and then do it, really cautious plan. And I came back and I just wasn't happy. Like I couldn't keep doing that. I knew that there were better options for me, and I knew I could feel better and be healthier and really be building myself up. So I ended up giving notice about a month in at the end of January, and the universe acted again and decided that I didn't need to have a job at all in February. So I stopped working. February 3rd was my last day of work, and I have been unemployed-ish. I've been fun-employed. I've been doing a lot of yoga. I've been babysitting. I've been teaching. I got a job teaching online a couple hours a day to kids in China, which I can do while I travel. And I've just been working on myself and actually starting this life where I wake up every day and think, like, what do I have to do today, and what do I need for me to do today? And like, obviously, there are always going to be requirements that you need to do. You're always gonna have responsibilities. You're a human adult. That's just part of life. But when your responsibilities take for other people or for finances and all of that take over, and you're not able to focus on what you actually need as a person, as a human with a soul, like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you have to have times in your life like that. You're not gonna get by without it.
No.
But try to, like, I feel like if you just try to tune in a little bit, even in those times, which it's really hard, I'm not gonna lie. When I'm having a hard day, I'm like, I should meditate.
It's hard.
I'm not going to.
I know. I do the same thing.
But just like, I knew that it wasn't the right life for me anymore. I feel like I put in the effort, I put in the work, I built up systems in my life where I can fly for free, which is something I'm writing about a lot right now, is
skyhighpiper.com.
is these systems that I've set up where I can travel and not have to spend a ton of money. I can travel and be fine.
You know what, Piper, let me interrupt you for just a second, because one of the things she's talking about that I think is so important is for you on your journey, you ended up having to kind of be universally guided to Costa Rica, and being there in Montezuma and all of that. That was where you kind of had your moment, your epiphany of listening to your soul and feeling guided and doing what you felt was truly right for you. Now, that was Piper's story, and that's amazing. And that might be your story too. Maybe you also need to go to Costa Rica, and we are giving you permission to do that. But we also know, for people that are watching and listening, that might seem to you like, oh my gosh, I don't have 2 weeks to go to Costa Rica, or how am I going to figure this out? Piper hit it on the head when she said, tuning in to yourself is the most important thing you can do. And most people have no idea how to tune in, right? Because we have kids and jobs and families and obligations and groups and all
phones.
Of these things. And
honestly,
phones.
I'm on my phone way too much.
Oh my gosh, me too.
I mean, like, get on your phone, but like also like listen to what's going on around you. Like,
and use your phone to connect, like truly connect, not waste time.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, girl.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, use your phone to connect. So that's the thing. That's the really amazing thing that you need to realize is that you don't have to necessarily, if you can take the vacation to Costa Rica, girl, boy, we're telling you, go do it.
And honestly,
okay?
like, the flight's not that bad.
Yeah, right. It's not that bad. And Piper will give
I'll
you
tell
hacks.
you how to.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing a new monthly article of travel hacks on how to fly free, how to get into airport lounges free, which means free food and drink.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And just like how I choose where to go. So it's gonna be really cool.
So that's awesome, right? But so to tune in sometimes to just figure out like something like this that might be right for you, that could involve taking time for meditation. Take time to just step away from the daily grind and all the people expecting something of you, and just be quiet and just listen to yourself. And sometimes it involves a little bit of exploration, whether it is seeing the book at the library and deciding, you know what, I'm going to pick that up, or, you know, seeing a friend's post or an article they shared, and giving yourself the time and the permission to explore those different things. So I'm sorry, I just wanted to interrupt for a second to say.
No, it's totally hard to know, like, how to listen to the universe. Or, like, all
and
this.
Listen to yourself, to your soul.
I feel like sometimes I hear things or see things that just make me think, like, it catches in my brain a little bit for a second. And I think, okay, I need to think about that a little more. Is that something I'm feeling guided to? And so I honestly spend a lot of time. I used to even do this with buying clothes, which is really interesting. But if I wasn't sure about it, I would think on it for a couple days. And I do that with purchases, but now I'm doing that with, like, life choices.
Yeah.
And if I'm still thinking about the same thing and feeling drawn to it after a couple of days, that's probably the right thing for me to do.
Yeah. Or at least explore more.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I know we don't have a ton of time left because actually we are meeting people for
my goodbye dinner.
Piper's goodbye dinner, which again, we're here at the beautiful Heartland Cafe for the goodbye dinner. But I want to talk briefly, really quickly, about kind of transitioning from Chicago to Costa Rica, what that's kind of involved. If you can quickly tell us, and I know it's been a lot, so I know it's kind of hard to quickly tell us, but if you can, quickly tell us a little bit about what you've done about your stuff.
Oh God, my stuff.
What you've done about figuring out your travel plans and kind of like what's happening in your life right now, just a couple days before you're gonna go.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, with my stuff, that has been kind of a roller coaster. Sometimes I'm feeling really good about it and I'm thinking like, yeah, get all this stuff out. I don't want it. I don't need it. I am liberated. And sometimes I cry over really stupid things. Like this morning, I cried over a bike helmet. And
that's okay.
I really wanted to keep my bike helmet.
That's okay.
Like, it's not that important. But it's just
Scott said less stuff equals more life.
Yeah,
That's right.
So it's not that important, but it's just little things that I'm like, they're like sticking in my brain. But I sold a lot of stuff, and then whatever I couldn't sell, I just posted online and said, hey, come take this out of my house, and people did. Sometimes very aggressively, and it like was upsetting.
Oh no.
But it's all gone, and I'm okay. Like, I'm here, and I'm fine.
You lived through.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna forget about all that stuff. I'm not gonna remember it.
It's true.
So, my stuff was a big thing, and just transitioning, like being in the middle of a transition. I mean, and even more than stuff is having my own personal space. I mean, the last night that I had my own bed in my own apartment was kind of a big deal. Because I'm staying with friends right now, just hopping around, couches, sharing beds. It's like really great, but it's also like not my own space. I can't like say, hey, whoa, I've had like a rough couple of hours. I need to go be alone. It's not quite as easy to do that. And but it's also helping me like create a better sense of community, which is something that I have trouble asking for help. In the last couple weeks, I've asked for a lot of help, and I've been offered a ton of help, and sometimes that makes me really happy and feel super supported, and sometimes that makes me cry because depending on other people is overwhelming. But I think it's just really like it's been a good thing. I'm learning new skills. And oh, my travel plans. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I asked a lot of questions.
That is another little bit of like universe tuning in. I was trying to decide when to fly out, and I was thinking first week in March. And then I went and had Demo's Pizza with my friend Allie, and she asked when I was flying out, and I said I'm thinking March 6th or March 7th or 8th. I just had these random numbers in my head. I didn't know where they came from. And Allie said, I'm flying to Costa Rica March 7th or 8th. Let's fly together.
That's crazy. The universe.
So, yeah, so we purchased flights. She's going for a 2-week vacation, and so we purchased flights together, got seats beside each other. She hasn't really traveled much at all. I don't think she's left the country before. So it's going to be really cool to be able to be there with her and travel with her, do the airport thing, because airports can be really, really scary when you haven't done that a lot.
It's overwhelming.
And I have a really good system. And it even involves like chugging a liter of water in the security line just so that I'm hydrated. Yeah, because if you have water in your bottle, they don't let you walk through security. So fill it up. You got to drink it.
Good idea.
Because airplanes dehydrate you.
Yes. And it's okay if you have to use the bathroom. Just
people will move.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, so that was really cool, and I've got a one-way ticket. I got it for $150 on a Wednesday morning. So I'm just saying, if you think that Costa Rica is unattainable, just find some time off and come visit me.
Yes.
But yeah, I actually have no plans when I get there. I know where I'm flying into, and I actually have a friend in Costa Rica who turns out will be visiting the town where the airport is, and so we might hang out, but I don't know. But I have no plans. I have ideas of what I'd like, but I'm sort of just waiting to listen because I feel like I've been guided so much, and I don't want to pre-make plans that create an inability for me to tune in and listen to what
and be flexible.
Maybe to what maybe like I'm being guided to.
Well, and I think that again is such an important point because I am currently reading a book in my book club, which you guys are still welcome to join. I can post a link in the comments below. It's called Kick-Ass in 2017 Book Club, and we're reading the book right now, Abundance Now by Lisa Nichols. And one thing she says in there over and over again is to do it afraid. Sometimes you have to do it afraid. Sometimes you don't always have an exact plan, right?
Yeah.
And that's scary and intimidating, but if you don't do it afraid, sometimes you don't do it at all, right? Because you can't really get rid of the fear until you go for it.
Oh yeah, I mean my very first trip alone, I cried on the way to the airport, and I was going to Italy. Like, I'm not saying Italy's nothing, it's still another country, but I was with my friend Jackie and crying in the car, and she was like, are you sure you want to go? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to go, but like I'm crying because I'm really
doing
scared.
It afraid, right?
And I did it, and now I started not being afraid about Europe all of a sudden. I was like, oh,
That's
Europe
awesome.
feels familiar. So then when I went to Central America for the first time alone, I was really scared. But Costa Rica's really great. I mean, I'm not doing like a promo for Costa Rica, but all the people there have been so nice. I never felt unsafe, especially like as a solo female traveler. That's really important.
Yes.
And I never felt like anyone was trying to sell me something or like get one over on me. Everyone was really honest and chill and good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome to hear. Okay, let's see. Let me double check the time here. Okay, so we have just a few minutes left. If anybody has any questions, you are more than welcome to type them in the comments.
Ask me some stuff.
You can just type away. But I want to share with you a little bit of what Piper's going to be doing. So obviously this is a huge transition, right? She quit her job. She is moving to Costa Rica, one-way ticket, okay? And this is really happening. And when she gets there, like she says, she's waiting to be guided to kind of see what happens. But as she goes here, one of the awesome things that's kind of manifesting from this experience is that she's realizing she really has significant things to teach people about travel, about hostels, for example. Like, I don't know about you guys watching, but I totally, just based on movies or media, whatever, totally were like, oh my God, hostels must be so scary. And then after talking to Piper, she's like, I've never had a scary hostel experience.
Yeah,
like,
I actually prefer hostels over hotels because I meet people. I
Right,
stayed
which
in a
is so
hotel once,
awesome.
and I was like, can you get me back to the dirty hostel? I mean, it wasn't that dirty, but it was just like...
But not as pristine as a hotel.
Yeah, I
is
just
what
want to
people
meet
expect.
people.
Let's see. Okay, so we have a question from Scott. Thanks, Scott. Are you figuring out a living situation beforehand or waiting until you get there?
I have no situation.
No situation.
There are beaches. I'm going to buy a hammock.
You know, it's a lot easier to live outside in a warm weather country.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, to be realistic, my hammock is plan B. There are people who camp on the beach safely in Montezuma, and
Wow.
I mean, I don't have a camping stove, so I can't cook, so that's not really a long-term solution for me, but I could do that. There's also hostels that I can stay at if I need to, and I'm just looking for like a room to rent or couch surfing gig. I've been looking into couch surfing.
Can I just say Piper's so badass? Like, oh my God, who else is doing this? Like, nobody that I know. That's why I needed to interview her for you guys, because this is incredible, right? Like, talk about living life to the fullest. Talk about not making excuses and going for it, right? She is breaking free. This girl right here is the epitome of breaking free. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So I don't know if anybody else has any other questions. Oh, let's see. How many bags are you taking? Melissa's wondering.
One backpack. I've got one hiking pack, and my whole life is in it. I sent some warm weather or like cold weather clothes to North Carolina for my family. I Amtrak'd that stuff. And just because I think I might end up traveling somewhere else where it's not tropical. But yeah, I've got 4 bikinis in my bag and
what else do you need?
2
Really?
pairs of pants and a handful of shirts. My mom, I was talking to my mom about hand washing my underwear in the sink, and she was like, well, I mean, don't you have enough underwear to get through a week? And I said, no, I'm bringing 3 pairs. I don't wear underwear in Costa Rica.
You need a swimsuit.
All you need is a bikini. You're good. That's what I live in.
Oh my God, I love you so much.
It's great.
You're hilarious. Oh my God. Okay, but seriously, guys, the thing is, like, again, she's not joking. This is really happening. This is how she's doing it. This is how she's making it happen. And I think, again, another really powerful message to get from this is, like, we find so much comfort in our stuff, right? Like, we need all these things. Like, we need all this stuff. But when you really pare it down, you don't. You need what's essential to live the life that's important to you, right? Not what's keeping up with the Joneses, not what's the next most best, thing that everybody's telling you to buy. You need what's going to help enhance your life. So Sky has another question. How does your family feel about the move? How did you break the news to them? That's a great question.
I broke the news slowly, bit by bit. So I started with my mom, and it just happened to come out of my mouth as we were walking to the car. Not the best timing, but I was just like, I got my nose pierced, and my mom said, what about your nanny family? What are they going to think about your nose piercing? And I said, well, it doesn't matter that much because I'm moving to Costa Rica anyway.
And she said,
my mom turned around, you're doing what?
But did she flip out on you?
No, my mom trusts me so much, which is great. She knows how,
that's amazing.
She knows I've got, like, I mean, I don't know what to call it, but, like, I'm
wanderlust.
like a level-headed person who's, like, got a lot of wanderlust.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing anything really stupid. I'm making sure I'm safe. And I don't know, like, when I broke the news to my grandma, that was a little different. She was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
She's pretty upset about it a little bit, but I think now she's excited because she sees I'm doing something that makes me happy. So she's on board. My dad told me I know how to give someone a heart attack.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So
varying degrees.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's extremely nervous and hopeful. So everyone knows I'm doing something that's really powerful for me and that's gonna help me a lot and that I really need to do.
Let's see. Your status once you've been there a bit. Good luck with everything. Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, Melissa.
And Melissa, you should follow me because I'm going to be blogging and updating a lot too. So it's skyhighpiper.com.
Yep.
And then Instagram also skyhighpiper.
Yep. And then I will be sharing links to all of her stuff in the comments below. I'll be sharing links to her pages, which will be amazing. And then my goal is to actually, when Piper is somewhere where she has good internet access, is to be able to do a video interview. I've actually done this with a friend in Hawaii, for those of you who've seen my interviews, where she was actually on the iPad and I was able to interview her, and then I was recording the interview from me and the iPad onto my phone. So we are definitely going to try to schedule some more of that in the future so people can keep seeing how things are going. And I really feel like you guys that are watching, my audience here, this is stuff that you want to know about. This is exciting. You're interested in breaking free. You're interested in traveling. You're interested in following that intuition, following your heart, and doing it afraid. And Piper, we do have to wrap it up because our dinner is about to start with friends.
Oh, yeah.
But I do want to thank you and honor you for doing this interview with me and for doing it afraid. And basically, I kind of just want to wrap up with letting people know that when you really listen and when you go for it, you not only light up yourself, but by my favorite Marianne Williamson quote is, at the end of it, is when you allow your light to shine, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So by Piper going for it, she is giving us all permission to listen to our intuition, do it afraid, and just go for it. And Emma says, I wish you the best of luck with your move. So sorry she can't make it tonight. We wish you could make it, Emma. Thank you so much for jumping on. And you guys are awesome. We will definitely be doing more interviews in the future. And in the meantime, Piper, I'm so excited for your journey. Yay. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. So thank you for jumping on. And I will be sharing all those links in the comments below.
Great. We gotta go eat.
Bye.